Hello and welcome. Tonight, I am leaving the Nigerian military stronger, declares former Chief of Defense Staff General Lucky Irabor, expresses confidence in the capacity of the new service chiefs as he is pulled out in Abuja. Defense Headquarters directs military officers senior in rank to the newly appointed service chiefs to turn in their resignation letters before Monday, July the 3rd. Get ready to be exposed. Human rights lawyer Femi Falana warns oil thieves in Nigeria, challenges the Tinubu administration to end what he terms an embarrassment. And President Emmanuel Macron directs more police deployment following the arrest of over 800 people yesterday evening in the third night of riots across France over the killing of a teenager.
On business news tonight, Nigeria's intra-African trade continues to perform below expectations as trade value falls nearly 12% in the first quarter of 2023.
From Abuja, the nation's capital, Adamawa State Governor Amadu Fintiri announces ban on felling and burning of trees for firewood and charcoal in the state with immediate effect.
We begin with the optimism expressed by the former Chief of Defense Staff, who said today that he is leaving the Nigerian military stronger, more prepared to take on emerging security challenges in the country. The immediate past Chief of Defense Staff, General Lucky Irabor, stated this during his pulling out ceremony at the Mogadishu cantonment in Abuja. The former military chief is also confident that the current military chiefs will indeed perform better.
It is the farewell ceremony for the immediate past Chief of Defense Staff, General Lucky Irabor. All the three arms of the military are here bearing their colors. This colorful parade, tagged Pulling Out, is a tradition to honor military chiefs who are retiring from service. Those in attendance are serving and retired military chiefs, permanent secretaries and heads of agencies of government, including the immediate past Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Mr. Boss Mustafa. Before the pulling out ceremony begins, the former Chief of Defense Staff delivers his valedictory speech. He is optimistic about the future of the military and Nigeria in the hands of the new service chiefs. The outgoing military chief is also proud of his records as he appeals to citizens not to engage in activities that can undermine the Nigerian military.
As a nation, we should avoid the deliberate or inadvertent inclination to denigrate the contributions of the armed forces to national security, unity and stability. To do so would be to effectively undermine the Nigerian state. I make bold to say that I'm leaving the armed forces of Nigeria today bigger, stronger, and more capable to deliver on its constitutional mandates and national security functions.
Done with his speech, General Irabor walks to the vehicle that had been made ready for the ceremonial pull-out parade. As the former Chief of Defense Staff formally takes a bow from active military service, the Defense Ministry appeals to his successor not to lower the bar.
I call on our new chiefs to actually follow the food part of General Irabo. General Irabo loves Nigeria. General Irabo is a distinguished Nigerian. We shall truly miss him. He has laid a great foundation for the armed forces of Nigeria. General Irabo led in front in the fight against terrorism in this country. I call on the service chiefs and the entire armed forces to work very closely with the Minister of Defense so that we can deliver on the mandate of President Ahmed Bola Tinubu towards ensuring territorial integrity and internal security of our country.
In the days and weeks ahead, Nigerians and indeed the world would be watching keenly to see how the new service chiefs would address present and emerging security challenges in a bid to keep Nigeria and our citizens safe.
Meanwhile, military officers senior in rank to the newly appointed service chiefs have 3 days from now to turn in their resignation letters. This development comes on the heels of the appointment of the new service chiefs by the President. The notice of resignation was made known in a statement from the Defense Headquarters. According to military tradition, senior officers are unlikely to take orders from their juniors. Thus, the new appointments necessitates the compulsory retirement from the force of about 100 top officers, including generals, brigadiers general, air vice marshals, and admirals in the Nigerian Army, Navy, and Air Force. The affected senior officers who are expected to file in their voluntary retirement are officers above the NDA Regular Course 39. While the current Chief of Defense Staff, Major General Christopher Musa, is of Course 38, the Chief of Army Staff, Major General Tarid Lagbaja, Chief of Naval Staff, Rear Admiral Emmanuel Ogala, and Chief of Air Staff, Air Vice Marshal Hassan Abubakar are members of 39 Regular Course. In other stories, the Police Service Commission, PSC, has approved the appointment and deployment of 8 commissioners of police to state commands in the country. In a statement, the spokesperson of the commission, Mr. Ikechukwu Ani, explained that of the 8 deployment, 2 female police commissioners, Adelesi Oluwarotimi and Augustina Ogbodo, are for Kwara and Ebonyi state commands. Others are Godwin Agolo, now CP Borno State. Adibola Hamzat is posted to Oyo State, while Samuel Musa, Aderemi Adeoye, Stephen Olarewaju, and Alamutu Abiodun are for Kebbi, Anambra, Imo, and Ogun State commands. The Commission commends the Acting Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetokun, for adhering to its latest policy of gender sensitivity in its recommendation. It urges the police boss to, in its subsequent proposals, include more officers of northeast and southeast geopolitical zones that are yet to record the benchmark of 15%, as decided at its last plenary meeting. Human rights lawyer Mr. Femi Falana says only 20 of the 36 oil terminals in Nigeria are metered, a situation that has fueled oil theft in the country. But then the senior advocate of Nigeria believes that time is running out for the oil thieves, as he believes they will be exposed soon. Mr. Falana explained that big men are involved in the sabotage, and the Office of the National Security Advisor should make moves to implement early report on their activities. He was a guest on our political program, Politics Today.
Our OPEC quota is 1.8 million barrels of crude oil per day. We are barely producing 1.2 million barrels. So 600,000 barrels are stolen daily. And this is unacceptable. No responsible government can say that oil theft cannot be combated. I'm aware that very soon the oil thieves are going to be exposed. In 2012, after the protests, the Jonathan administration set up the new Ribadu Committee to investigate the monumental fraud that informed importation of fuel. At the end of the investigation, that panel came up with a report that many of our terminals are not metered. I am aware that we have 36 terminals, only 20 are metered. So the remaining 16 have not been metered, and that is where oil is stolen. So this regime has a task, more so that Mr. Nuhu Ribadu is now the National Security Advisor. He must walk his talk by ensuring that the recommendation submitted to the Jonathan administration is implemented now. Because Nigeria is the only oil-producing country. The only oil-producing country. Talking of oil theft, talking of smuggling of petroleum products, talking of inability to fix refineries. And so this must end.
Away from oil theft, Vice President Kashim Shatima is asking leaders in the northwest region of the country to unite and support the present administration in addressing the challenges confronting the nation. The Vice President made the call today in his remarks when he, alongside other government officials, paid Salah homage to the Sultan of Sokoto, His Eminence Mohammed Saad Abubakar III, in his palace in Sokoto. While conveying President Bola Tinubu's felicitations, the Vice President emphasized the importance of peace and unity, adding that the Tinubu administration remains committed to giving the necessary support to the traditional institution to contribute to the nation's progress.
I will urge you, I will implore you, I will beg you in the name of Allah to, at whatever cost, sustain your relationship with the Sultan Yamma for the peace, stability, and progress of our sub-region. Please accept the glad tidings and regards from His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. He is very much aware of the challenges of our people. The insecurity that has pervaded the northwest sub-region of the country. He is taking far-reaching measures, and I want to congratulate you. In the past 30 days, there has been some semblance of peace. Out of the 4 terrorist leaders, I think the security forces have adequately handled 3 of them. I want to commend them. We want to thank them for all the sacrifices they have made and continue to make for peace to envelop this part of the world. There can never be peace without development, and there can never be development without peace. I want to urge our political leaders to unite as a people to confront our common challenges of insecurity, poverty, and underdevelopment.
The Sultan, on his part, said the Vice President's submission is valid, adding that government's decisions, though tough, will yield the desired results in the long run.
What we should continue telling each other, we need peace. And while we need peace, we have to also take active measures. Today is hardly a month since you are sworn in. It's hardly a month since you are sworn in, and you have done a lot within a month. I think it's something that we need to acknowledge. Some issues are so bad to some people, but we must take decisions. It's better to take decision than not take any at all. And I think some decision taking will see the benefits later on. So we need to conform with the normal standard of reaching out to everybody. Communication is very important. We are here as your communicators. We discuss, we go and tell people what things are. Policies are important. Some stringent policies are important for us to move forward. But I believe we must always take people along so that everybody knows what we are doing, why we are doing it. And at the end of it, when things are better, people will say, Alhamdulillah, we suffered before, but now we are much better. We'll support you 100%, inshallah. We'll give you our awards at any time. You reach out to us or you don't reach out to us. Inshallah, we'll support the government and we'll do whatever it takes to maintain peace and stability in our states, in our country, Nigeria.
In part 2, after the break, Governors Hope Uzodinma and Peter Mba of Imo and Enugu States lead dialogue in Lagos towards resolving perceived misunderstanding between the Lagos state government and Southeast traders in the state. To join us again. Welcome back. If you've just joined us, you're watching the News at 10 coming to you live from Channels Television. A reminder of our top stories. I am leaving the Nigerian military stronger, declares former Chief of Defense Staff General Lucky Irabo, expresses confidence in the capacity of the new service chiefs as he is pulled out in Abuja. Defense Headquarters directs military officers senior in rank to the newly appointed service chiefs to turn in their resignation letters before Monday, July the 3rd. Get ready to be exposed. Human rights lawyer Femi Falana warns oil thieves in Nigeria, challenges the Bola Tinubu administration to end what he terms an embarrassment. And President Emmanuel Macron directs more police deployment following the arrest of over 800 people yesterday evening in the third night of riots across France over the killing of a teenager. As citizens continue to grapple with the impact of the subsidy removal, our fuel subsidy that is, the Emir of Kano, Alhaji Aminu Ado Bayero, is appealing to the government to provide relief measures for the general public. He voiced his concerns during the visit to the Governor of Kano State, Abba Yusuf, at Government House. Our correspondent, Sadiq Ilyasu, tells us more.
Palpable excitement in the air. It is the famous Daba of Haun Nasarawa in Kano State, northwest Nigeria. It comes alive with the vibrant sounds of drums, flutes, and trumpets amidst colorful display of horse riders. Pioneered by Sarkin Kano Abbas in 1903, after the British conquest of Kano, it has become a tradition that takes place every second day after the Eid celebration. The parade of excitements starts out from the palace of the Emir of Kano all the way to the government house. There, the Emir leads the traditional stool of Kano to pay homage to the formal government of the state. And like his father before him, Alhaji Aminu Ado Bayero, the Emir of Kano, arrives at the government house adorned in a maroon outfit, a golden heart, and carrying the historic Dabo's dagger. When they walked through the doors of the main hall, the district heads bow in reverence of the Emir and the Kano State Governor, Abba Kabir Yusuf. When all were settled, Alhaji Bayero seizes the opportunity to appeal to the government to make the impact of the removal of fuel subsidy an easier burden for the people.
We are aware of the hardship that comes with the removal of the fuel subsidy, not only in Kano, but Nigeria at large. Now is the best time to find ways to bring down food prices to cushion the effects.
The Kano State Governor, Abba Kabir, responds with highlights of his achievements since assuming office and what he plans for the people.
We paid NECO examination fees for our students, over 55,000 of them. We paid over 1.6 billion naira to ensure that these students sat for the examination.
The Haun Nasarawa Daba holds great significance for the people of Kano, always leaving spectators thoroughly satisfied with the procession. Sadiq Ilyasu, Channels Television News.
Medical tourism is one of the major reasons for the neglect of the nursing profession here in Nigeria. This is the view of the UK's first ever sickle cell and thalassemia nurse specialist, Professor Dame Elizabeth Anyanwu. Dame Elizabeth believes if politicians, government officials and the elite patronize medical care in Nigeria, they would see the need to make the system appealing enough to keep specialist health workers like nurses from leaving the country. She was speaking with Channels Television's anchor, Ijoma Onyato.
If those in the positions of power in Nigeria their families were being treated by nurses in Nigeria, I'm talking about, not abroad, in Nigeria, then they would really realize the benefit of the nursing profession and that they need to be paid more, respected more. They need to look at everything, their education, their career prospects. What is it that is causing people to leave the country? Are they listening? Are they even talking to the nurses? Are they listening? You can talk to somebody, but are you listening to what they're telling you? Because you can easily find out why people are leaving. Then the big issue is, what are you going to do about it? Everybody is trying to do the best for themselves, for their families. It's up to the country of origin to say, do we value this profession? Why are they leaving? What can we do about it? It's up to the politicians.
To catch the full interview with Professor Dame Elizabeth Anyanwu, do watch Diaspora Network on Saturday at 7:30 p.m. With months to the end of his administration, the Kogi State Governor, Yahaya Bello, has promised that he will continue to build and rehabilitate roads and complete all ongoing projects in the state. The governor made this pledge while flagging off the reconstruction of a 13.71-kilometer road in the central senatorial district of Kogi State. He urged the contractors handling the state projects to comply with specification and completion deadlines.
This 13.1-kilometer road runs from Itakpe Junction through Kaba Junction to end at Total Junction in Okene Town. The Kogi State government is rehabilitating the road to ease movement for travelers going through Okene Town. The governor has consistently said he will see only quality infrastructure in Kogi State. In his address at the Itakpe Junction, the Commissioner for Works, Samson Bako, outlines the scope of the construction work to include complete scrapping, asphalt overlaying, concrete binding, as well as reclaiming gullies along the road. The Chief of Staff highlights the economic importance of the road.
The total scarification, construction of 8.7 kilometer Itakpe Junction to Kaba Junction. 2. Rehabilitation and offset overlay of 5.1 kilometer Kaba Junction to Total Junction. Provision of hydraulic structure. Provision of crushed rock stone base of 150 millimeter thickness. Provision of offset concrete binding and wearing cost of combined thickness of 100 millimeter.
This road is in no doubt means a great deal to the economic progress of the good people of Kogi State, not just Kogi State, even passerby. But this is like a connecting point between the south and the north.
Governor Bello knows that this is a federal road, but his administration decided to take up the rehabilitation for a purpose. He expressed confidence in the contractor to deliver the project before the end of 2023 in exceptional quality.
Even though the road is situated in our land, but all Nigerians are using this road. And at any point in time they pass through here, it gives us bad image. So we desire to undergo and undertake the rehabilitation and reconstruction and give it the world best standard.
Speech is over. The governor then flagged off the project. The governor also promised to ensure adequate security for travelers on that road.
Southeasterners living in Lagos have held talks with the Imo State Governor on ways to resolve the dwindling relationships with their host, Lagos. That's the host state. At a forum in Lagos State, the Governor of Imo State promised to broker understanding between them and the Lagos State government and other residents. Our correspondent, Olu Phillips, who later met with the Governor, now brings us a report.
It's 1 month already since the Lagos State governor and the government were sworn in for a second shot at office. Though the elections are over, there are a few concerns carried over from the campaign period, bordering on political persuasions of some illiterates. The makeup of persons here drawn from the business and political community are predominantly those of the southeastern extraction. Some who are aggrieved over their properties demolished, others who are apprehensive of possible attacks, others with various concerns about the general welfare of the Igbos. On this side of the table are two southeastern governors and leaders of thought. They will compare notes on how to address the concerns. Speaking mainly in the native language, they made their points.
My father is resting in peace in the village. He came here in the 40s. We will live at the right time, but we will not cut and run for no reason because we are stakeholders.
Responding to these worries, Imo State Governor Hope Uzodinma admits he would like to be the bridge builder between them and the Lagos State government. The convocation also highlighted the state of security in the southeastern states, and here's what the governors had to say.
It is not only peculiar to Southeast. There is virtually no part of this country that is not challenged, either as a result of Boko Haram, banditry, kidnapping, or non-gunmen in the Southeast. That is what we have seen of late. But the government has risen to the occasion. In Imo, that was almost the epicenter. It is worst because in the course of the happenings, the prison, the center prison in Owerri was broken, and over 1,800 criminals escaped.
We've made pronouncements to ban the Monday sit at home, and our people are responding to it. And the Monday sit at home thing now, it only exists in the minds of people. But in reality, our people go out to work on Mondays.
High points of the evening is the constitution of a select team who will make a representation of outcomes here to Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu.
Now that government has removed exclusivity of power and rail, they can join together and build rail lines that goes around the states and also do some road projects together. If they can get security, well, get this infrastructure, I'm sure there will be a flow of investment in the southeast, and that will improve it is the attractiveness. I mean, you know that investments do not respect anything else. They respect where they are safe, where they are, rewarded, and that's it.
Some hours later, this group moves to the State House where they have met with the State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu, and here's the outcome of the closed-door meeting.
The meeting had gone off very successfully. We will discuss issues around common interest, especially issues bordering on recent demolition around the Alaba market, where there have been a lot of wrong information. There's been all sort of wrong communication that has gone out. Our conversation here this afternoon has cleared the air. We've seen that indeed there is need for us to continue to further collaborate where wrongs have been expressed. We've corrected all of the issues and the views, and we've jointly set up a small working committee that will go around and verify and see things for ourselves and be able to put all of the negative information and media reviews, put them out correctly.
Olu Phillips, Channels Television News.
Still ahead on the news at 10, Nigeria's intra-African trade continues to perform below expectations as trade value falls nearly 12% in the first quarter of 2023. That's on Business News. Please stay with us. Welcome back. Let's now head over to the nation's capital, and Gloria Umezoke is indeed standing by with the very latest from our Abuja studios. Hello, Gloria.
Thank you, Ayo. Here in Abuja, we begin in Adamawa State, where cutting down and burning of trees for firewood and charcoal is now forbidden. This comes as Governor Amadu Fintiri announces a ban on the activity. Governor declared the ban when a group of traditional rulers in the state paid him a visit at the government house in Yola, Adamawa State.
Particularly in ensuring that you give all the necessary support to government. Security is not the duty or the responsibility of government alone. It has to be done along with the traditional institutions and other community leaders. So I call on you to ensure that your domain is quite peaceful. You take charge and ensure that the coexistence among our people is very cordial. And this time around, to ask you that from today, I have banned the burning of trees in the name of charcoal in this state. So I want you to pass this message down through other traditional institutions of district heads and of villages and down to community leaders. I am going to charge the local government chairman to give you all the necessary support to ensure that not even a single tree is any longer burned in this state in the name of charcoal. We have to save our environment. We have to make sure that agriculture this time around grows better. And this, I want to assure you that we will be providing all the inputs necessary for us to have a bumper harvest this season.
To legislative matters, the African Parliamentary Advocacy and Reform Group, as well as the Parliamentarians for Global Action, are calling on the 10th National Assembly to adopt the digital parliament system in line with global best practices. Well, this, according to them, will improve the involvement and contribution of lawmakers to every legislation. The director of the African Parliamentary Advocacy and Reform Group, Mr. Chibuzo Okereke, stated this at a press conference in Abuja to mark the International Day of Parliamentarians. In other stories, the Obafemi Awolowo University Ile-Ife has honored one of its alumni, Professor Anthony Adegbulugbe, with the Award of Excellence following his sterling academic record. At the maiden edition of the Academic Research Excellence Awards, the management of the university explained that the award could not have gone to a more deserving alumnus of the institution. Now, also honored at the event were 230 students who emerged best in their various classes across all the departments in the institution.
It was a day to be joyful and make merry. An illustrious alumnus of the Obafemi Awolowo University is being recognized for being the best of his kind and the finest of his peers, having obtained the maximum possible cumulative grade point average of 5.0 way back in 1976. He graduated in the finest of colors from the Department of Electronic and Electrical Engineering and has since broken series of academic barriers and conquered many frontiers deemed impossible, many of which he used to improve humanity.
As it turned out, I was the first Nigerian student admitted for graduate school in the Department of Nuclear Engineering at MIT.
The management of the institution confirms that the awardee broke the glass ceiling to make the impossible look easy.
Aside from his exploit in breaking the ceiling in the university to bag a 5.0 CGPA, he has represented the university in positive light. He was instrumental to the growth of the Center for Energy Research and Development, CED, and the university, and has been committed to the growth of the university over the years.
Some of the friends of the awardee give warming comments about him and the strides he is making home and abroad.
Well, he enunciated about 6 principles, which I hope they will take into consideration, that they must strive for the best, that they must not be limited by any ceiling, that they must be spiritually grounded. So many other principles that he enunciated.
He's a very kind and supportive person, somebody who knows the beauty of serving God and also serving humanity.
The elated awardee sees the honor as a greater challenge, especially in his new role of mentoring the 230 students who were also honored for sterling performances from 100 level to graduating class.
I think how we are going to do it, probably create a platform at the same time, how we put our heads together and we are going to get it done. But one of the things we are going to do is to start this small research program for everybody, and that should also bring us close, and it's once in a while.
As Professor Anthony Adegbulugbe continues undeterred, He admonishes the younger generation to give it their all, break any and every ceiling to reach their goals, and plow back into the society.
Now to company news. About 77 lucky customers will be rewarded with 10,000 naira, 100,000 naira, and a grand cash prize of 1 million naira, courtesy of Wema Bank in its Alert 545 promo. Well, this is according to the Chief Digital Officer of Wema Bank, Mr. Olusegun Adeniyi. Mr. Adeniyi was speaking earlier today at the Alert 545 promo press conference organized to officially declare the activity open.
It's the return of Season 3 of Wema Bank's Alert 545 promo.
Wema Bank has been awesome, all thanks to Wema Bank.
But this season, the promo is even bigger and better.
We came up with a promo as a way of giving back to our customers and rewarding their loyalty to the bank. The unique thing about the promo is that any Wema Bank customer can win. We've been very intentional, even in the requirements for qualification to win the promo, ensuring that the petty trader making a minimum wage or less still stands a chance to win.
What is different about this particular season is the fact that we have become even bolder. We are going to be rewarding over 300 customers on a monthly basis. Customers stand a chance to be able to win up to 1 million naira, and this 1 million naira in today's economy, you can imagine what that would do for you.
Wema Bank's head of brand and marketing communications, Mabel Adeteye, and Chief Digital Officer, Mr. Adeniyi, highlight the terms and conditions.
First thing to qualify for the promo is to transact at least 5 times in the month. But before we go to that, onboarding onto the platform is seamless. Regardless whether you have BVN or not, you are able to onboard and become an account owner on the platform. So owning an account, reactivating your account is also very seamless and can be done automatically. And then coming onto the platform, Alert being that platform, to do at least 5 transactions is all that you need, with a minimum account balance of 5,000 naira.
So we have about 90 million naira that we're giving out to all our customers across the country. This promo is starting July 1st, 2023, and it's going to run for 10 months. So you have a 10-month period to win as many times as possible. We had said earlier that you can win more than once and do that transaction via Alert app, the card, and then star 945.
The 545 promo is a reward scheme recently introduced by Wema Bank to reward loyal customers, encourage businesses and a healthy savings culture, as well as renew relationships with old customers.
Well, that's it from the nation's capital. It's back to Ayo in Lagos for the rest of the news at 10.
Many thanks, Gloria. Governor Dapo Abiodun says the beauty and value Ojude Oba brings to the people of Ijebu deserve to be paid serious attention and replicated on a larger scale to optimally harness its benefits. The governor, who, amongst other special guests, witnessed the 2023 celebration of the Ojude Oba festival today in Ijebu, is confident that much can be learned from a culture that has become a global event.
I know photographers have come here from abroad today just to record the sounds and pictures of what's happening here so they can project to the whole world. We have begun to look at this differently as a state as we purpose to expand our cultural and tourism potential. I would say perhaps we can tweak this and turn this into a carnival, an Ogun State carnival that happens once a year. And we can now allow for all parts of Ogun State, the Yewa, the Aworis, the Egbas, the Remos, to fuse together, come together for a couple of days in Abeokuta and display their rich culture and tradition. As you can see, what's happening here today, besides the color, besides the celebration, besides the joy, besides the tourism potential, it also has a multiplier effect in the economy. The woman selling pure water, recharge card, woman selling of father rice. So this is very interesting, and we are going to run with this.
It's now time for business news, and Joke Rogers is standing by. Joke?
Thanks so much, Ayo. Nigeria's intra-African trade has continued to fall below expectations despite the commencement of the African Continental Free Trade Area, with the trade value down to 842 billion naira in the first quarter of 2023, and that's 11.95% lower than the figure recorded in the first quarter of 2022. It dampens the projection by the International Monetary Fund that intra-African trade will be boosted by 52.3% by 2025. ACFTA aims to enable a free flow of goods and services across borders to boost the continental trading positions in the global market. However, more than 3 years after it kicked off, Nigeria's trade value with other countries in relation to its total foreign trade remains low. The issuance of the guidelines on contactless payments by the Central Bank of Nigeria, which kicked off this week, has been raising a series of questions. Contactless payments refer to transactions which use alternate channels such as QR codes, non-physical banking, digital wallets, and fintech-powered financial institutions. By implication, the Central Bank of Nigeria's 50,000 naira daily limit means that fintech banks may have to collaborate with traditional banks through which customers can carry out their Know Your Customers. In a circular to banks and other financial institutions and service providers dated June 27, signed by the Director of Payment Systems Management, Mr. Musa Jimo, the Central Bank of Nigeria stated that the limit on each transaction to 15,000 naira, while daily cumulative limit is at 50,000 naira. The domestic stock market has again exceeded expectations despite the holiday-shortened week. The market benchmark index crossed into the second half of the year on a 15-year high. Will Ibong tells us more.
Welcome to the Stock Market Report. It's been 2 days of holiday at the NGX to mark the Eid al-Kabir celebration, and the market makes a thunderous return with a 1.43% on the all-share index. This benchmark index sustained the 60,000 level today and hit a record high last seen since 2008. What can I say? The market is simply on fire, and we are seeing stocks like PZ Cousins, Eterna, taking on full beats in the market today, and that has kept the share prices to trade around 10% handles, keeping it on a sustained uptrend. Ever since that news that Eterna had received license to begin fuel importation in July, investors have lashed onto that stock. Well, who wouldn't? The activity chart pretty much tells us investors' bullish sentiments in the market today. We did see volume and value in 15 billion naira traded today, and most were trades on Access Holdings, and a lot of investors, I must say, are riding this rodeo, and it's going pretty fast. And who knows, we may still be getting the Tino Bull effect in the coming weeks. And that's the Stock Market Report. I'm Will Ibon.
That's business news on the news at 10. Back to you, Ayo.
Thank you so much, Joke. French President Emmanuel Macron says more police will be deployed after 3 nights of riots across France. An entire building burned down in the northern French town of Roubaix during the most destructive night of rioting yet in protest at the fatal shooting of a teenager by police. Nearby, several cars were also burnt out and the windows of a supermarket smashed. Here's Simon Pusey with more on this and other international stories in Around the World in 5.
Good evening and welcome to the channel's studios here in London with your international news around the world in 5. The French President Emmanuel Macron says further police will be deployed after more than 800 people were arrested yesterday evening during the third night of riots across France. Much of Paris looked more like a war zone. Fireworks used as a weapon against police. Thousands of vehicles were set ablaze in cities and towns across France, despite 40,000 officers being mobilized to keep the peace. Here, a swimming pool construction site being built for next year's Olympic Games was set ablaze in the Parisian suburb of Aubervilliers. And here, a Nike store, one of hundreds of shops to be looted across the capital. The officer who shot the teenager dead has apologized to the family. He has been charged with voluntary homicide, and his lawyer says he is devastated. The teenager's death has revived grievances about policing and racial profiling in France's suburbs. Earlier, the United Nations Rights Office said it was concerned by the fatal shooting.
We note that an investigation has been launched into alleged voluntary homicide. This is a moment for the country to seriously address the deep issues of racism and racial discrimination in law enforcement.
Two 14-year-old twins, Anna and Yulia Aksenchenko, who were among 12 people killed during a Russian missile strike, have been buried. At the ceremony, a crowd of around 30 relatives, friends and local residents gathered to pay their respects. The family held a mourning ceremony for them at their apartment several hundred meters away from the site. They were killed in a Russian attack on a busy restaurant several days ago, with dozens of others badly injured.
How are you, son? So good to see you. Good to see you, too. Thank you so much for welcoming us back.
Meanwhile, the former U.S. Vice President Mike Pence, who is running to be the Republican nomination in the 2024 presidential election, has made a surprise visit to Ukraine and met President Volodymyr Zelensky. During talks with the Ukrainian president, Mr. Pence vowed to keep providing with Ukraine the support they needed for the duration of the conflict.
The Ukrainian military is making steady advances against the Russians, and I assured him that for my part, we'll continue to do everything in our power to make sure that we provide the Ukrainian military with the support they need until they repel the Russian invasion and restore the sovereignty of this country.
Britain has set out a new workforce hiring plan for England's state-run National Health Service, seeking to tackle staff shortages. A beloved institution at the centre of Britain's post-war national identity, the NHS has about 112,000 vacancies, a gap that could more than triple by 2037 without action.
We're announcing the most ambitious transformation in the way that we staff the NHS in its history, the long-term workforce plan. This is a 15-year plan to deliver the biggest ever expansion in the number of doctors and nurses that we train, and a plan to reform the NHS so we deliver better care in a changing world.
Tourists in the central German state of Hesse will be able to get a bit closer to heaven starting on Saturday, when Germany's longest suspension bridge opens after 6 years of planning and construction. 664 meters long with a height of up to 100 meters and a weight of 120 tons, the bridge has a carrying capacity of up to 750 people. And starting today, art from antiquity to the 20th century is being auctioned at Christie's Classic Week in London. This year's sales are led by a remarkable panel called The Entombment of Christ by El Greco, which is expected to go for around £8 million. A landmark rediscovery of the last known pair of portraits by Rembrandt, at auction 200 years after they were last seen, are also thought to sell for around £8 million. The series, which includes 10 live auctions and 1 online sale, will run until the 14th of July. And that's your international news around the world in 5. Now back to the channel's studios in Lagos.
Many Thanks, Simon. Welcome to Sports News. The Nigeria Basketball Federation, the NBBF, has appointed Reina Wakama as head coach for the senior women's national team, the D Tigers, ahead of this year's AfroBasket in Kigali, Rwanda, scheduled for July the 28th to August the 6th. The reigning African champions have been without a head coach since Otis Hewley resigned from his role with the five-time African champions last year. Wakama was a former national team player and currently an assistant coach at Stony Brook University in the U.S. Meanwhile, it was not cheery news for the D Tigers, who lost their opening game at the FIBA African qualifier against Guinea in Abidjan, Côte d'Ivoire this evening. Nigeria lost 62 to 65 points. The D Tigers started well, clinching the first quarter 20-14, and the Guineans rallied back to win the second quarter 22 to 11 points. For Nigeria, the third quarter ended in favor of Nigeria 18-13, while the final quarter was won by their opponents, Guinea 16-13. In tennis, world number one Carlos Alcaraz will face French veteran Jeremy Chardy in his Wimbledon opener, which starts on Monday. Friday's draw at the All England Club pitched men's top seed against the experienced Frenchman. Our defending women's champion Elena Rybakina will face American Shelby Rogers in the opening round, while men's second seed Novak Djokovic will begin his title defense against Argentina's 67th ranked Pedro Kashim. And the main news again. The former Chief of Defense Staff, General Lucky Rabo, today declared that he is leaving the Nigerian military stronger and more prepared to take on emergency security challenges in the country. General Rabo, who spoke in Abuja as he was pulled out of service, also expressed confidence in the capacity of the new service chiefs to help in securing the nation. That's the news at 10 tonight. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Ayo Tunde Balogun. From all of us here, it's good night.